Speaker, while these tax cuts benefit everyone, I understand that some people in my community who make over $150,000 might not be entirely happy with these changes. To those individuals, I want to reassure you that you will still receive a tax cut. Actually, you'll get the largest tax cut of all.
Call to the most honourable member for Hunter.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to make contribution to the Treasury Laws Amendment, Cost of Living Tax Cuts Bill 2024. The great part about these tax cuts is every taxpayer gets one. It's simple. In my electorate of Hunter, every single taxpayer will receive a tax cut under our new tax cuts, with 86% of Hunter taxpayers receiving an even bigger tax cut from 1 July. Deputy Speaker, Australians across the board are doing it tough, and tough times call for tough decisions. And what we have seen is a leader that is willing to make some tough decisions. And I know in my electorate, the people congratulate the Prime Minister for making that tough decision. When the previous government legislated the original Stage 3 tax cuts 5 years ago, the world was a very different place. It was before a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, persistent and stubborn high inflation, higher interest rates, 2 conflicts and global uncertainty that put Australians under more sustained cost of living pressures. There is no doubt that this decision was very difficult politically. But this is about people and not about politics. And it's the responsible thing to do, Deputy Speaker. We are making the right decision, not the easy one, to make sure that cost of living relief goes to everyone, especially those doing it tough. So here are the facts. From 1 July this year, the government will reduce the 19% tax rate to 16%, reduce the 32.5% tax rate to 30%, increase the threshold above which the 37% tax rate applies from $120,000 to $135,000, increase the threshold above which the 45% tax rate applies from $180,000 to $190,000. Speaker, the 45% threshold will be lifted on July 1 for the first time since Labor was last in office. So what does that mean for taxpayers in the Hunter electorate? Our new tax cuts will make a real difference for 73,000 taxpayers who will receive a tax cut. It means 63,000 taxpayers will receive a bigger tax cut than what was being proposed under the old plan. This translates to a larger tax cut for 90% of female taxpayers. Nurses, teachers, childcare educators, chefs and truckies are some of the most likely to benefit, with more than 95% of those taxpayers getting a bigger tax cut. Parents, particularly women with young children, will be meaningfully supported to return to work under the government's changes through increases to their take-home pay. Under the proposed changes, taxpayers earning less than $45,000 will now receive a tax cut. The old plan would have seen them receive a big fat zero, donuts. This will significantly boost the take-home pay for Australians on modest incomes and people working part-time. So let's break it down into numbers, Deputy Speaker. Someone on the average wage in Australia of around $73,000 will now get a tax cut of more than $1,500 a year. That's around $29 a week, and that's more than double what they would have received under the old plan. For a family on an average household income of around $130,000, with one partner earning $80,000 and the other earning $50,000, their combined tax cut will be over $2,600, which is around $50 a week, and about $1,600 a year more than what they would have got under the old plan. Speaker, a person earning $40,000 a year will get a tax cut of $654 compared to nothing underneath the previous plan. A person earning $100,000 will get a tax cut of $2,179. That's $804 more than they would have received underneath the previous plan. And a person earning $200,000 will still get a tax cut, which will be $4,529. Speaker, over the last few weeks, I've been out speaking to my community about the tax cuts and what it means for local residents. Emma from Brankston is a registered nurse in the Hunter electorate. She earns around $90,000 a year and paid $21,517 in income tax in the 2023-2024 financial year. On the same salary, Emma will pay $1,929 less in tax in 2024-2025 financial year underneath the government's new tax plan. This is $804 more than underneath the previous plan. Gordon is an electrician in Lake Macquarie and is married to Tracy, who is at home caring for their child. Gordon expects his wage to be around $130,000 in 2024-2025 financial year. With the new tax cuts, Gordon will receive $3,379 of income tax relief. Speaker, while these tax cuts benefit everyone, I understand that some people in my community who make over $150,000 might not be entirely happy with these changes. To those individuals, I want to reassure you that you will still receive a tax cut. Actually, you'll get the largest tax cut of all. And how, you ask? We're increasing the highest tax threshold from $180,000 a year to $190,000 for the first time in 16 years. But just like everyone else, these individuals have expenses like school fees, childcare, health insurance and housing costs, either rent or mortgage. Many of them brought homes when interest rates were expected to stay low, but now they are dealing with high rates like many other Australians. They are facing similar financial pressures. They've been waiting for a tax relief and were delivering it by raising the tax threshold to $190,000 and giving them a tax cut too. I spoke with Ian, a miner from Muswellbrook, who told me that this is a far more equitable outcome. Ian earns more than $170,000 a year and still gets a tax cut, but his children in childcare and the service industry get a fairer tax cut on their tax. Now, Speaker, those opposite love a good scare campaign. It's the only policy they can come up with. We hear them running around like Chicken Little, telling everyone the sky is falling in, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The advice from Treasury is clear that our tax cuts will not add to inflationary pressure because they are broadly revenue neutral. With the continuing fall of the inflation rate, Treasury is clear our tax plan will not impact their forecasts for inflation to fall to the target band. Australians are under pressure right now and deserve a tax plan that responds to the challenges they are now facing. But those opposite have backflipped on what they will do for struggling Australians. Why are they standing in the way of bigger tax cuts for Middle Australia? We had the Deputy Opposition Leader out saying they will roll back these changes, meaning that 63,000 people in the Hunter electorate will not get a tax cut and will be paying more tax on the Liberals and Nationals. Just think about it for a second. Their plan is to tell those who are struggling that the relief that they will be delivered from July 1st this year will be taken away if the Liberals and Nationals are elected and given to those people on $200,000 a year or more. How is that fair? Speaker, the Liberals and Nationals are addicted to opposing cost of living relief. The only word they seem to know is no. Speaker, the Stage 3 tax cuts represent a transformative step forward for our nation, a step towards a future of opportunity, prosperity and fairness. By empowering individuals, stimulating economic activity and promoting equality, within our tax system, these cuts lay the foundation for a stronger, more resilient Australia. I commend this bill to the House. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
I thank the